All right, let's go ahead and move into our Game of Thrones review. We're going to be doing two because I was out sick, everybody, so I apologize for that. We're going to be talking about the Regent and the Smallfolk.
Yeah.
Those are the two we're going to be talking about.
Big episode.
So, Luke, it's been a while since you've been on one of these episodes. Let's go ahead and catch up. What do you think about the war from the last two episodes so far?
Oh, that was a bad situation because I haven't caught up with.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I am aware. I am aware of like of Damon having his hallucinations, and I know that like
Oh
the
God.
perception. I know that the perception is that this whole thing is going slowly with people because of like the hallucinations and like the.
I'll explain that. Keep going though.
And the talks, but again, I like the idea that people are like building situations, and it's all about the relationships. I mean, the good parts of Game of Thrones to me is the political back and forths.
Right.
Obviously, like the thing is, you have to have those great little political backs and forths, so that when the battles happen, it's kind of like that's the releasing point. Like that's what it comes down to. So it's like if you're not on board with people just like talking to each other for an hour straight, then it's I have to ask you, why are you watching this TV series? You know, because that's its honest to God strength. So
far in these last episodes we saw, because they're kind of the same. They almost seem like two episodes that big episode thing. Yeah, that's been cut in half. You have Aemon basically asserting his power, because we had, of course, Aegon comes back, bringing Melee's head. Basically, you know, they're parading Melee's dragon's head through through King's Landing and saying, you know, this was slain by your king, which was cool because that was actually good propaganda, because that does make Aegon look a little bit more like a badass. Because, I mean, did you think, Steve, after seeing his...
We also talk about how many like think pieces about when Aegon got hit by the fire, where everyone's like, "Is he dead? Is he dead?"
Oh, we talked about this. Yeah, no, he definitely wasn't dead.
Even though literally the whole point of the book is that he survived it, even though everybody thought he was dead. Like, there was like weeks, there was like 2 weeks worth of just like, what happens if he's dead?
Right.
Like,
because everybody's like, he don't look good. This is bad.
It's like that's the point is that he's alive. The point is that
did you think he would look as bad as he did, Steve, or did you think he'd look worse?
Yeah,
I personally thought he would look worse.
I thought he was gonna look worse, dude, because the book. I mean, he looks like trash in the book. But you know what's so funny? It's the same way they did. Yeah. I'm glad that they did that, but then when you see his face, because they have to show the actor. I get it.
Right. They can't make him completely grotesque.
Because he's really supposed to look grotesque.
Yeah.
Like, the book makes it like he was charred, like almost 90%
on the milk of the poppy all the time.
Yeah, like 24/7, right?
24/7.
Yeah, where they're just like, we don't want to like kill him with this, so we have to be like careful. But I do like that dragon in the street scene. I was like, oh, that was a good scene, because
that was good.
Like,
that wasn't in the book, so that was a good propaganda piece.
It was so good. I like that they went to the Smallfolk, which is great. Preamble before the Smallfolk episode, where they're just like, oh, this isn't good. Like,
right,
they killed the dragon. They literally killed a god.
Right, and that was an interesting exchange between when they're like, dragons are like gods, you know?
Yeah,
like it's showing that the Targaryens are just as human as the rest of them in a way.
Yeah.
You had Corlys though mourning, of course, Melee's, which was sad because, you know, the prince that never was, of course, passed up because she was a woman. You know, the sea snake, he still plays a prominent role in the war in the book, but he does take a step back, but not in like an anger sort of way, just a step back towards more of Driftmark because he's down. I really I really am enjoying kind of the frustration with Rhaenyra a little bit more, of wanting to go fight and then realizing that she's stuck in a predicament of where she can't.
Yeah, she can't do it. But she's fighting back. At least we need that from her on TV, because she has been a little like, you know, the Rhaenyra's character has been like, well, I'm just here in this room constantly,
and whining and crying.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, you know, she doesn't act like that.
Okay, let's go ahead and move to Daemon, and this is where I'm really having a hard time with the series, because I'm really loving. I'm not lying. I'm not like Luke. I'm loving how they're stretching the lore out into different aspects.
Yeah,
but this whole planting Damon at Harrenhal to where he just has these hallucinations and he's just whacked out of his mind is so unnecessary, and it completely takes away from this character. I had someone literally the other day said, Rob, you told me Damon was such a badass character. He doesn't really seem like a badass. And I'm like, that's not how he is in the book. Harrenhal's like
taking castles.
He's like taking castles, burning people to the ground. Like, and the problem I have with this, and they're trying to really lean into the story a lot, is the idea that Daemon wants the throne for himself. But it's like that ended the minute he married Rhaenyra. That it never continued on. In fact, Daemon kind of drops out of the whole pursuit and becomes almost her sword because he knows he's king. He already knows. Yeah. And that's kind of what leads to the Dance of Dragons to begin with, because Otto is like, no, it's not going to be Rhaenyra that rules. It's going to be Daemon, and then he's going to kill all of us. Mm-hmm. Initially, they were more scared of Daemon than they were of Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
Well, to this I will just say this, is that I think Daemon is a much more complicated character than just... He is. And to me is that I think that this, examination doesn't... To me, I don't think diminishes his badassness, but I have never been on the. I've never been 100% on board with the hell yeah Daemon train. just for the simple fact that it seems pretty clear that from early on he wanted to fuck his niece.
Right, he did.
Yeah,
exactly, he did
to get to the throne.
Exactly, but still the throne. But also he kind of just also wanted to fuck her. I'm just let's get a sense of performance. I don't think that is a 100% qualification of badass. He's kind of a gross. To me, that's the thing. David is he's complicated. He's powerful. He is decisive. He is intelligent. He is he's a warrior. He's also gross. He's also insecure. I think to me, from day one, I have always seen him as a deeply repressed.
He's not like that in the book.
No. I mean, exactly. But the thing is that the point about the book is that it was always biased. It always it was always never telling us the full story. I would like to, in my opinion, is that when it comes to declaring great war, Daemon is Alexander the Great. We all remember every account of Alexander the Great is that he is a weepy gay weirdo, but he is also, of course, one of the greatest conquerors of Western history.
Irish in a movie,
huh? And played by an Irishman. Yeah. But that's how kind of I see it. Is that there is so much insecure complications within him.
I like that. I like that interpretation.
Is that which I think is enough that doesn't diminish his we're all men here. It's okay. True men feel
yeah. No, I totally get what you mean. But it's true. Just he's just chilling there. Just it's like he's on an acid trip in this Harrenhal place.
Feel. Oh no, it's just because I don't want to immediately ascribe badassness to because
I get what you mean. This is a different time, man. This is Westeros, okay?
Okay, listen. I just don't want to call a guy that fucked his niece a badass. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's not a badass. That's a creepy unk. That's creepy unk. That's
a full season of him wanting to do it, and at the end actually doing it. So
yeah, it should just be listen, if we're really talking about it, he would just have a cigarette taken off and hey, let me holler at you.
Yeah,
that.
So speaking of dragons, though, we actually had literally House of Dragon turned into How to Train Your Dragon, because as we predicted, Steve, and as I was telling everyone, we are finally getting to the dragon seeds. And I would like to tell everyone right now, spoilers, because
it's over now.
I keep reading it with everybody. Everyone keeps asking, why did Sea Smoke claim Adam of Hull as a writer? And that is because he is Corlys's bastard. He's his son. And the Valerians are the closest things to the Targaryens when it comes to blood. So the reason Sea Smoke even chose him was because he could sense the blood, or I guess it's what they're going for, of a Targaryen inside him. So we're at the dragon seed part where we actually have people trying to tame the dragons. We saw Sir Stefan Darkland try and get burned alive, which was interesting. No, he's like, I did it, and then boom, that dragon was like, nah, dude, get the fuck away, bro.
That was hilarious, dude.
And this is a big part of the war. It's because Rhaenyra realizes she has more dragons, but she doesn't have enough riders. And I'm going to go ahead and give you a little insight to what is going to happen. So spoilers, ladies and gentlemen. There is a saying in Game of Thrones, and I know Steve knows it. I don't know if Luke knows it, but it goes a little something like this. Bastards are treacherous. And that is what they always say in Game of Thrones. So even though this idea of getting new riders to ride the dragons that are not Targaryen seems like a good idea for the war, it doesn't pan out so good when power goes to, I guess you could say, the small folks' heads.
Yeah.
And that's going to be an issue later on. I don't know whether this guy is going to do it, but I don't know. I can't remember who the ball guy's name is. He's escaped me at the moment, but that guy seems like he also might be a dragon rider. But
yeah, they're basically strongly suggesting that both of them will. So
I'm my money's on him. I'm enjoying this though, but I hope it doesn't go too fast, because in the book they talk about how this is kind of a lengthy process, because there's a lot of people who come, even people that aren't even Targaryens, they try, and two of them they added these two, of course, but there are people that do ride them and they're not Targaryen in the book. So I like this though. Did you also catch, Steve, that they talked about when they were in the Vale, the wild dragons? They started talking about the wild dragons, which should be either Ghost or the Cannibal. Which I don't know.
I think it's going to be. I just have a strong inclination that this show wants to hit hard, and it's going to be the Cannibal. Yeah, just because that was such a character in the book. You know what I mean? That dragon.
Because it's an important thing that happens.
It's an important thing. So
involving Sunfire, everybody.
Right, and I think they have to, because we saw Sunfire on screen. He's hurt. He's out of commission. They making a point to say that there's a wild dragon out there, and it's not doing anything, so we leave it be. Well, yeah, because it's eating fucking dragons. You know what I mean? Right. So I think that's probably what's gonna happen.
Okay, and let's address something else, Steve. What was with the kiss with Masari and
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it, but I was just like,
but why?
Why? And this is
why
interesting.
After that story though, dude?
We have this discussion a lot, and I'm starting to realize this in a lot of movies. And for those of you who don't know, what me and Steve are getting at is we love when we watch films and then you have two characters that are engaging in some kind of dialogue. Like, example, when Robb Stark was talking to the one girl, and she was telling about her brother and how she almost drowned, and basically she was saved by a slave, and he was just like, "That's hot. Let's fuck."
Yeah, let's right now.
I don't understand when certain dialogue goes, and then all of a sudden people are like, "Oh yeah, it's hot. Let's get it on."
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's like you're pouring out so much emotion. You're being vulnerable, and then you're trying to be on their level. But I just feel like when you go so hard as to say your father is basically making you, and then
it's like, I don't like to use woke, but that shit came out of nowhere, and it almost seemed like why, for what reason? I don't know what reason it was for.
I know that I believe that the actress who plays Rhaenyra is gay, right? Is she a lesbian? I believe so.
I'm not sure.
I don't know if that's. I think so. I'm not. Don't quote me, but I don't know if that plays into to anything. I know that
it's very high into Daemon, because Daemon is the one that has the relationship.
He's the one.
With her.
I was gonna say he's the one. So I don't know why. I don't know.
He's gonna have a relationship with that one witch. I'm telling you, that's gonna be the one he's gonna have.
I was gonna wait on that because he's supposed to have a relationship.
Luke, are you alive over there, buddy?
Yeah. I'm just I'm good. Yeah. As you were.
But I definitely think though there's the next episodes are going to be interesting. I don't know how far they're going to go, whether they're going to go all the way to King's Landing or how it's even going to happen, but it seems like this is going to be drawn out to the end of the season. I mean, we're supposed to have another 2 more episodes, right?
Yeah, 2 more episodes. Eight.
So
is good, I think. But again, they're saying there's only supposed to be 4 seasons.
It's interesting on how they're going to continue it out because I want to see where the ending is going to go. I also think it's interesting too. We're seeing more of Aemon assert himself, and he's trying to basically Mad King his way to the throne. If you haven't noticed, he's already like, I'm gonna. What he's supposed to be doing. He's doing what Daemon. Him and Daemon kind of are supposed to be doing the same thing, but missing each other at certain times.
Kind of, yeah.
To be just burning the riverlands.
Of the TikToks where somebody did of Aemon, he would just be like, "Hey, like, would you like to go outside?" Like, no, like, pussy. Like, dragon doesn't fear going outside. You know,
yeah.
I'm a big fan of. Yeah, it's funny how I like Aemon. He's such a terrible human being, but he is so fun to watch.
Yes.
He's more fun to watch than Joffrey, in my opinion, because like Joffrey was just petulant and gross, and he was like. It was just like, it wasn't fun. It was so.
Aemon's like a cocky little shit that's never been put in his place. You know what it is?
Pretty much.
Yeah, the thing is, when Aemon does shit, it's going to be like fun. Like, it's fun to watch. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, does anybody, for those of you who've never known, I mean, he does get it pretty bad down the.
He gets it bad.
Oh, yeah. My man gets it.
That's kind of why it's like also fun too, because like this guy fucking get his.
Aemon one eye.
I love that he keeps making these notations that he wants to challenge he's like, I want to challenge my uncle. He's like, my uncle.
Yeah,
but it's like, then go challenge him. It's like the whole time.
Which is good, but you know why though, right? I mean, that's accurate to the books, dude. He kind of idolizes him in a way. He does idolize him. He's like, I'm flattered that my uncle thinks of me as like a worthy adversary. He wants to kill me, but I'm like, it ain't gonna end well for you, bro. If you know, like it's not gonna be good.
They also finally mentioned Dark Sister. Did you see that? They started actually mentioning it. Like, I swear to God, someone's watching our podcast and going, wow, these guys are
so, dude, because I'm like,
missing that.
The next episode, though, Rob, I'm like,
they were like, he was given Dark Sister. And I'm like, what the fuck?
What are you talking about? You now say it? Come on now.
Yeah. I'm enjoying, though, everything. I think what's great about this show, too, is it's interesting, though. It's kind of my criticism of it, but then also I love it, though, too, at the same time. What I like about it is I love the new vastness of it. I love that we have so much more dragons. They look different. There's so much more special effects that look really good. The only problem I'm kind of having with a lot of things is I feel like a lot of places are just recycled. You didn't show Rook's Rest because we don't have a location for it.
We don't have a so all we have to say is
I hate the way the rock looks. I hate the way Casterly Rock looks.
Looks so generic. That's why.
So bad. It's supposed to be this like mountain cave castle. Instead, it's just some like cave, which is funny too in the episode too, because I love how the Lannisters are telling Aemon of all people, like, tell Aemon once he moves, we'll move too. It's like, dude.
It's like, you are another people that will not end poorly. You know, you're gonna get it. You know what I mean?
Oh, they also mentioned the Red Kraken, Steve. They mentioned it in passing, but I was like, yes.
Yes, when they said that, they didn't get that past me, Rob. When I heard that, I perked up and I was like, ooh.
They're gonna bring the Red Kraken into the story. That's gonna be that could be a whole season itself.
yeah, dude. Tell me about it, right, dude?
Because he goes rogue. He just starts doing his own thing after a while.
I mean, you talk about going crazy, dude. Like, but I don't know, man. I like it.
The Red Kraken, because he literally just is drenched in blood all the time.
All the time he is drenched.
I think he's considered the greatest Iron Joy pirate, if I'm not mistaken. He's
something like that. But he's supposed to be like having like his sword and just his like, I don't know, man. He's supposed to be a badass dude, man. Like, that does his own like you said, Rob.
We're gonna get a season where he's just having hallucinations too.
Yeah. Now, here's the problem I have with it. The very quick thing about him. I don't mind the hallucinations. I think it's fine. But I think when he's like waking up and then they're like, "Oh my lord," well, whatever, like he's in a meeting or he's in the middle of jerking off or something. The guy, "My lord, do you need help?" And he's like, "Just get the hell away from me."
That shit's gonna get that dude killed. That's all I kept thinking about, because that guy just keeps appearing when he wakes up, and I'm like, dude, get away from.
Even Damon's like, "This is your final warning. I got a knife to your throat. Leave me alone." But then again, he always wakes up in like the middle of eating, or like they're talking to him and like, "Did you hear me?" I wish it was more so like he was by himself and he wakes up in like in a dark room, because those scenes are tight, dude. They brought back Viserys and he's having the moment. They brought back the actor, and I'm like, yes.
Again, and see, that's where we're like, I know Luke's it's different because like he gave his perception about Daemon, but in the book, it was never he never was vying for the throne as much as he is in the show. Like in the show, he's having these hallucinations about vying. It was like, dude,
I defend you, brother.
He always respected Viserys. Like he always did.
I know.
Never
it seem like he's like, I didn't.
It wasn't about that he wanted the throne. Is the fact that his brother, and he loved his brother so much, it blocked him from the throne. It was never like he was trying to get around him.
He wasn't.
Kind of.
Well, he was just being like a shitty little brother, pretty much.
I mean, again, I don't know what the book is, but I feel like what they're suggesting is like, Daemon is his own person, and he does have his own and he has his own vision for what the future of Westeros is, and so like the central tension was with him and his brother, is that like he thought he would make it better, and his brother thought like he had no business doing that.
And that's the thing, though. Daemon's never really. See, we can go on for long, because even in the Rogue Prince, it didn't seem like Daemon was interested in ruling as much as it was just having the title.
The title and having people attract.
Right. Because he didn't really want to rule. He was he was always like encumbered by rule. He's like, I don't want to fucking do this.
No, he wanted to. He's rogue. That's the whole point. He's the rogue.
He's the Rogue Prince.
To go do his own thing. They call him that for a reason. So it doesn't make sense. That's what makes him the character. But I don't mind. It's
interesting too, because he has Dark Sister, he has Caraxes, and then he was King of the Stepstone. So it's like, he was his own guy.
I don't know. What do you think? Just the last bit here. What do you think of like Alicent? What do you think about those type of characters? What do you?
Where Alicent's going? Alicent,
like where she's going.
Alicent has the most relativity right now because she has 0 when the war starts.
Yeah.
And they have basically given her a whole new forefront of a story, which I think is okay. The one I'm more interested off of, too, is that they keep saying Sir Otto has disappeared, which is interesting because Sir Otto never disappeared in the book. Yeah. He came roaring right back.
Yeah, dude. That's when he was called. To me.
So that was different.
Back twice. They were like, I don't know why. He's
missing.
If he wants to be, and if he wants to answer, he will answer. Or whatever he said.
It's not how Sir Otto is, but that was interesting. But yeah, overall, I've enjoyed this season so far. I'm just happy that they need to stop. Also, too, Luke, both of you guys, the whole time I'm watching this and Aegon's in bed, I'm like, I guess he's not the prince that's promised, huh? and then Alicent's all dealing with Aemon. I'm like, I guess he's not the prince that was promised either.
Don't even, dude. If he says that at the end, she goes up to like.
If Aemon did that,
of the Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh my God! Like right at the end, he's like, "My uncle, have you ever heard the Song of Ice and Fire?" I am.
As you,
Prince that was promised. Oh my God, that would end it. That would end it.
They're gonna have to string it along. I don't know, man. It's still, I would say, it's the best. Well, you know what? It's the second best TV show behind The Acolyte.
Oh, shut up. No, I will say, though, the House of Dragon, though, these 2 seasons have made up immensely, I believe, in the whole how much they've fucked up Game of Thrones.
Season 1, they were kissing your feet. They were really like, oh, we're sorry. Yeah. Now they're like, are you still mad at us? Kind of thing.
Because we're kicking ass and showing some cool stuff here.
Yeah. Senpai, it's...
yeah, senpai.